All right, what's going on, everyone? We're going to talk some Dandadan today. We're going to talk about Kinta. They have been hyping up, pushing all kinds of agendas for Kinta for weeks now, right? I'd say 2 or 3 weeks. And I think they're trying to make Kinta like the new god of Dandadan. And for good reason, because he really is the MVP of Dandadan, right? Low key. That being said, no new Dandadan chapter today. So most of our Dandadan conversation will be, you know, ranting and talking about the anime and stuff like that. We don't have a new chapter to talk about, but I do want to kind of talk about the fact that Kinta has been getting a ton of hype and because of that discourse lately, and I think that's only going to continue when we get the 10-gallon wiener scene. So my expectation for Thursday's episode is that it's going to be weirdly viral. It's not going to be viral like the Hayashi band, right? Because the Hayashi band went viral for like purely entertainment and aesthetic reasons, obviously. I think Kinta is gonna go viral just for being Kinta, just for being like a very Dandadan character that says stuff like 10-gallon wiener and how is it that you attract all these females, right? I kind of expect Kinta to be like ironically the face of like the anime red pill community, right? Ironically. Bro, listening to your voice is so boring. Well, you are welcome to leave. I'm sorry you don't find the stream interesting. That's the fun thing though about YouTube is if you don't like something, you don't really have to watch it. But yeah, we'll talk about that, and then since there's no excuse me, since there's no Dandadan today, I was really just planning on I was really just planning on playing some catch up with Shonen Jump because I haven't really been keeping up with the chapters since we haven't been streaming on Sundays. So I'm a bit behind on our usual manga. We got Justin in chat. Justin, how you doing today? Justin, what did you think? Because I think you said you were planning on watching it. What did you think of this weekend of college football? There were a lot of upsets. Florida State beat Alabama. Texas lost to Ohio State, which it was I want to say that was a disappointment, but honestly, I want to say that was a disappointment, but I feel like Texas does that at the beginning of every season. Like when Alabama still had Nick Saban, Texas lost to Alabama week 1 in the, I want to say 2019 season. Bro, it was so dumb. Like Texas should have beat Alabama that year, no problem, and they lost. Anyway, if I can, I want to watch the University of Carolina game tonight because of Bill Belichick, obviously, but we'll see. Excuse me. Losing my voice today, ironically. You know what? I want to read Kyoshi because I thought I saw that the Black Parade arc is officially over, which if it is, I feel like that's a huge letdown for Kyoshi. Here we go. All right. So I was on chapter 54. Obviously, if you are not caught up on the weekly Shonen Jump manga, and I will mention them as I get to each one, but if you're not caught up, then just be warned that there's going to be spoilers. I was watching Arch Manning wet the bed. So Arch Manning, I don't know what his high school experience is. Well, so Justin, can you tell me, is he a true freshman or is he just a Longhorns freshman? Because if that wasn't his true first time playing as a quarterback, like a starting quarterback, that was pretty bad. But I mean, if he's a true freshman and that was his first game, I thought he did all right. I think there were a lot of expectations on him, especially for a first-year quarterback. So it's like, you know, it's not all his fault. That being said, he made a lot of like really bad decisions. Like there was one drive, I think this was the Longhorns. There were a few times where like he panicked and he threw the ball when he shouldn't have thrown the ball, and that's why he threw like 2 or 3 interceptions. I know that. The other thing that screwed him over was there were a lot of times where guys were wide open and he threw the ball right to them, but he threw it like right above their head. Like consistently he was throwing it above people's heads. So he's got the potential for sure, but he's just got to work on the execution. And I think that'll improve over time with experience, because to me he just seems inexperienced. It doesn't seem like he has enough plays under his belt. So the recap, I'm on chapter 54 of Kyoshi, going to chapter 55. Basically, Akane hopped in, the Demon King, whatever his name is, grabbed her and was like, I'm going to torture her until you get back up. And then that inspired Kyoshi to get like a power up. So now he's all powered up after he thought he had lost and had given up. And now we're getting, not like round 2, but basically, well, yeah, I guess this is round 2 of the fight, which apparently ends pretty shortly, because apparently this arc is now over since I stopped reading it. I believe Arch Manning is a 3rd year, but this is his full year as a starter. I'm guessing 1st year as a starter. Yeah, so if this is his 1st year as a starter, even then, right, it's like, even if he's not a true freshman, it's really his 1st year as a quarterback, right? That being said, if he's a 3rd year and it's his 1st year starting, he definitely has potential, but the expectations after that game are not high. I don't think he's going to drastically improve in the next game or even the one after that. I think it's going to take at least a month or 2 until he improves. Yeah, I'm surprised that clip didn't go viral of Peyton Manning saying Arch Manning is adopted. That was brutal. And then, I don't know if you guys saw it, but there's a clip, even if you don't like football, it's funny. There's a clip of the Alabama-Florida State game, and Alabama was losing really bad, and they got the camera on this Alabama fan in this ocean of Florida State fans, and he's just sitting there like this, and he's like staring at the camera, and he just gives them the finger and they immediately move the camera off. I'm like, bro, how did they not cut that? Like, how did that make that onto the network? I watched that live and I was like it was crazy. Yeah, so college football was very surprising this week for sure. Anyway, so we're on chapter 55. The demon that Kiyoshi met in chapter 1 is worrying about Kiyoshi because he knows the Black Parade is going on. So Kiyoshi powers up. Roth, whatever the demon or devil king's name is, says, "This is reminding me of my fight against him," which I'm not sure if we know who he's referencing. To be honest, I just hate him. Sometimes he's cool, but he's just too annoying. It's not bad, but he takes too much screen time. So talking about Kinta from Dandadan, takes up too much screen time. I don't know that that's true. Actually, I would disagree. Unless you really don't like him. It does seem like he... Well, you could make the argument that he becomes like too strong, too fast. But I mean, when he has control over something as powerful as nanotech, then, you know, the sky's the limit, right? Like, if you know the end of the Space Globalists arc, like, that makes sense, right? He's got the strongest ability, potentially, than all of the other characters. So, we got Eden's in chat. What's going on, Eden's? We're talking about Kinta. We're talking about how Science Saru and Netflix are hyping the shit out of him. They like really want people to like him, or at least they're expecting people to like him. And we're talking about how he's low-key the MVP of Dandadan, right? He's always in big fights. He's always making big plays. Obviously, he was a big player in Space Globalists. And they're going to some pretty far lengths to like hype him up, right? I mean, they almost never do post-credit scenes in Dandadan. And they did a post-credit scene just for Kinta in last week's episode. So they are truly expecting Kinta to be like a well-liked character. Yeah, I said this at the very beginning of the stream, but like I'm expecting people to like ironically hype him up as like a red pill character, right? Like, and when I say ironically, I mean like, you know, I prefer my wives 2D instead of 3D, right? The kind of guy that's like anime will save the world, right? Stuff like that. Constantly doing JoJo poses. I think he's gonna be popular with like hardcore anime fans. People who want to lean into the whole like weeb vibe. It's funny how much of his hate comes from him being unattractive. Are you talking about hate from fans or hate from other characters? Because like obviously Ira doesn't like him. She finds him annoying. In the story, it's somewhat warranted when he gets hated on by characters like Ira, because at least in the beginning, he like tries way too hard to be likable and to be cool. He's like the exact opposite of Gigi. As a matter of fact, here's a perfect example. He's always calling Gigi pretty boy. Like everyone knows Gigi is like the cool one and like the attractive one, right? But like nobody makes that his entire identity. Kinta meets Gigi and immediately just labels him or writes him off as the pretty boy, right? Which shows you inversely how that's how Kinta views himself, as like the ugly one or like the nerd, right? So he probably, I would say he has the biggest identity issues out of everyone else in the group. Hate from fans. Yeah, I can understand that. But like, that's the thing. Like, that's his character. He's like an even nerdier version of Okarun. Like, Okarun's thing is like, he's a nerd, but he's a nerd because he's shy. So he just focuses more on what he's into and less on interacting with other people. Kinta is a nerd because he's like a super nerd and is so bad at interacting with people. Like, at least Okarun can talk to people. He's just shy. Kinta is not only shy, he's like socially inept to the point where like he thinks it's okay to tell girls like 10-gallon wiener, pure beef, right? Like, what? So, but like that's his thing. Like, that's his character, is he's just like the anti-Chiji. He is very much the weeb. So you're either on board for it or you're not. Kinta is the one who always has the lowest expectations but always exceeds them. Maybe I'm a minority in the community in this area, but I have the highest expectations for Kinta because he proves to be like one of the most reliable, I should say, one of the most reliable characters in the group. I mean, again, like, I don't want to spoil anime only fans, but he has some of the best feats with his nanotechnology anyway, out of any other character in the group. So to say we shouldn't expect that much from him when it comes to fights, it's like, have you even been reading the story? Edens has been playing Sonic Crossworlds. Did the game officially come out, or is it in beta? Because I've been seeing everyone talk about it, but I don't know if the game is officially out. I would love to play that game because I love Sonic and I want to get more into the games because I'm kind of a casual and I could use a good racing game. But there's just so much other gaming stuff that is higher on my list. Like, I want to buy Battlefield 6. I want to buy the next expansion of World of Warcraft. There's other stuff that I want to save up for. So I would love to play Sonic, but I just don't have the money right now. Dead Sea Pirate back about asking about Massachusetts. Dead Sea Pirate, I'm only asking this because you keep asking, where are you living right now? Where about? Like, you don't have to tell me exactly, but like, where do you live? Just so I have an idea of like how to tell you stuff about Massachusetts. Yo, found your Sakamoto Days video and saw you were live, so hi. Well, hello, Mookie. I'm gonna say, is that, or Muki? Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm glad you enjoyed the video. How you doing today? Pleasure to have you. Yeah, usually we review Dandadan on Mondays, and then we do random manga rants. I'm gonna go watch it now. Bye. All right. Well, hopefully you enjoy the video, and hopefully you come back for another stream. That was quick. Where are we? But Dead Sea Pirate wants to know about Brockton, Mass. Brockton is okay. It's not the best neighborhood, but there are worse neighborhoods you could live in. It's like not so bad that, you know, if you walk around during the day, you're gonna get murdered, but it's not the best place to be after dark. Boston is a few hours from where I'm from. Okay, cool. So yeah, I'm trying to think. Dead Sea Pirate, are you looking to rent? Is that what you're looking to do? I hate to turn this into a real estate stream, but you know, my man seems really intent on this. Where are we? What was I gonna say? I don't know. I forgot what I was talking about before. Kenta is like Sanji. I would say Kenta is more like, I don't know. I want to do a video on this because Kenta represents the new generation of coward characters, right? Like the characters who, the archetype of characters who their whole thing is like they're the first one to run in a fight, or like they're the one who they're the ones who want all the glory, but they don't actually want to like try hard in a fight. You know what I mean? It's only the demo right now. Actual game doesn't come out till the end of the month. I might play that tonight then. I would love to play the demo. As a matter of fact, for everyone in chat, can you name like modern coward characters? So for example, the what was I gonna say? The like quintessential coward character is Usopp, right? Usopp is very much the coward. How about is Lol? Lol's okay, depending on where you live. Certain areas are better than others, and obviously, if you can live like in outer Lol as opposed to downtown Lol, it's better. You don't want to live anywhere too close to the school, so UMass, because UMass, like, they're animals there. They're just constantly partying. So if you move closer to the school, then obviously it's just going to be non-stop parties. Are you aware of the new SBR anime information September 23? No. Are they doing like a showcase? What are they doing? I think you brought this up before, but I can't remember. Okay, so we can see video later. I don't know if I'm going to do this video. I have to like really brainstorm it and see how I would do it. But I think it's a video that people would enjoy because I feel like this is one of those archetypes that like people force onto new manga, but was really only ever a thing in the 2000s. Like, you know how people love to... Sorry, I'm fidgeting here. You know how for a while people were forcing on certain tropes or archetypes, like the rival, right? Which hasn't really been a thing in modern shonen, or like newer shonen. What are my thoughts on Southern New Hampshire? Southern New Hampshire is great. If you live on the seacoast, it can be expensive. If you move to like more west, so like Nashua, it's like a good happy medium. Not quite that, but Denji is close. So Denji is definitely not a coward, but he would be a good example of like somebody who like doesn't want to fight. He just wants all the glory. But I wouldn't place him in like the coward category. He's more of like, I don't know, a greedy character, I guess. Or like a shameless character. Hey OGGDC, Gege Akutami is returning with the short-term manga next week, and JJK is coming in January. Yeah, the winter season is going to be really weird for anime YouTube, because January is when ad revenue plummets, but this year or next year it's going to be absolutely stacked. So It's going to be a very unpredictable season because we have JJK, we have Frieren, supposedly. Honestly, if Witch Hat Atelier is coming out in January, then I think it's screwed big time in terms of breaking into the mainstream, because if it has to compete with JJK and Frieren, it's done. I don't think it's going to do very well. That's just my gut feeling on that. But yeah, JJK Season 3 looks awesome. I was pleasantly surprised to see everyone flip out for the trailer. I think that goes to show that the anime fandom has kind of overtaken the manga fandom for JJK, right? It's different from Tokyo Revengers, where... So, you have JJK and Tokyo Revengers, similar situation. Both had good manga, both had really popular anime, both had manga end on not so good note while the anime is running. Tokyo Revengers, the anime then comes back after the manga ends, and like nobody cares anymore. Like just done, right? JJK, I am still like half expecting that to happen, but clearly if it does happen, it'll be to a much lesser extent, because I mean, you look at the Crunchyroll YouTube channel, they dropped the trailer and in less than 24 hours, it has 4 million views. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. So, at the very least, I think the beginning of JJK Season 3 is going to be massively popular. So, especially with the two most popular anime of this current generation, JJK and Frieren, you know, not including One Piece, there's going to be huge competition in this winter season, which has not been the case for a while. For the last 2 or 3 years, it's mostly been the case where like there's like a few headliners, but really it's like one big anime. Like last year was Solo Leveling, or this year was Solo Leveling. I forget what it was the year before. So next year is going to be super weird for anime. And also on top of that, there's going to be Fire Force. Fire Forces, it's screwed, right? I mean, they had all of the potential to hype up Fire Force in the spring. It really had no competition, and they dropped the ball on that one. So Fire Force is supposed to come back in January, and now it has to compete with Jujutsu Kaisen, Frieren, and a bunch of other anime. Bro, it's cooked. I love Fire Force. It's cooked. Its fans will turn up, and like fans will like it, which is fine. It's a season 3, but still, it's cooked. When does the Chainsaw Man movie release? Is it this month or October? So yes and yes. It releases in Japan September 18th, I want to say, or September 28th, something like that. Fruit Loop Chan in the chat. How we doing? Nice to see you, Fruit Loop. Guys, if you don't know who Fruit Loop Chan is, they're on Twitter. They do a bunch of really awesome art on Twitter, and they've also done a bunch of commissions for me, which keep your eyes out for, because I have new stuff that I commissioned. I commissioned the little Shonen OG on the screen right here from Fruit Loop. So if you like cool art on Twitter, or you want to commission something yourself, make sure to hit up Fruit Loop Chan, excuse me. Anyways, so yeah, so Chainsaw Man comes out in Japan in like 2 or 3 weeks, and then in October it comes out globally later. So they're doing like they did for Dragon Ball, where like it comes out in Japan way ahead of time, and then they kind of space it out, and then it comes out globally. Whereas like lately what they've been doing with movies is like they'll just do it over the course of a weekend. Steel Ball Run will release into 3 cores with 16 episodes. So 16 episodes apiece. That sounds about right. That's basically what they did for Stone Ocean, so that sounds right. Oh, so in this category of coward characters, there was Kiba. He also wanted to become Hokage and is constantly hitting on girls, but he's not cool. So I don't know if he is suitable or not. No, so I'm talking like the coward character, like the character that does not want to be like a brawler and just wants to claim W's without actually fighting. So another example would be Zenitsu, right? From Demon Slayer. Because he's cowardly. He doesn't really want to fight. But like if he thinks, you know, it's going to make people like him, or if he thinks he's going to get, you know, a girl to like him, then all of a sudden he's really brave, right? So he's a good example. Usopp. I'm trying to think. The thing is, like, there's like so many archetypes that like people just say are like timeless anime archetypes, but really they were a thing that happened like once or twice in the 2000s, and people forced those roles onto new manga when they were really never a thing in the first place. So like the coward character in literature is absolutely a thing because it's just a trope, but like you'll have some people who say like it's just a thing in anime when really there's like 2 or 3 big characters that fit that role, like Usopp, Zenitsu. It's really it as far as I can think of. Deku would fit, sort of, but that's not really accurate. Any chance you'll watch Jormungand? Yeah, you always recommend it, and it's on my list. It's just I have a ton of other stuff I want to watch, so if I have the time, I will certainly watch it. Get ready. February 3rd, Marvel Rivals official art book. Ooh, that sounds really cool. That I would definitely want to check that out because I love the art style and Marvel Rivals. Also, Eddie, how you doing today? Pleasure to have you. I feel like I haven't seen you in a hot minute. I'm late again. That's okay. Not a big deal, Eddie. We always appreciate you pulling up. I'm going to go back to Kyoshi. So Kyoshi powers up. Whatever his name is, Roth, says something about, you're reminding me of my fight against him, which I feel like we should know who he's referencing, but I can't think of anyone. Opinions on racing game Mario Kart World or Sonic Racing Cross World. I haven't played either of those games, but Sonic Cross Worlds looks more interesting to me than Mario Kart World. I feel like with Mario Kart World, Nintendo was like, oh hey, our open world thing is a thing and people are buying the thing, so let's just force it into Mario Kart. Like, Mario Kart is a party game. I don't really understand why they went the open world route. Like, I get that it works for Zelda, right? And it kind of worked. I didn't play the new Donkey Kong, but it's like kind of a thing in Donkey Kong, right? Then to another extent, probably there are other Mario games too. But Mario Kart is a party game, essentially. So that's why most people buy it. So to put this like open world thing on it, to me, it just feels pointless. Sonic is the better game in my opinion. I've also seen Sonic fans trashing on Cross World, saying the music sucks, the map sucks. Personally, it's like the first Sonic racing game, you know, like kart racing game that looks cool. Like the other Sonic kart racing games that they've come out with, you know, in the last 10 or 15 years just look, you know, like generic, right? Like they were just pumping them out to compete with Mario Kart, but this one like genuinely looks fun. Me being a product of the 2000s, I wish they would come out with a Sonic Riders game. So this is probably the closest thing I'm going to get to a Sonic Riders game. Excuse me. The maps are fine. Biggest issue for me is some of the voice direction choices for the characters. Would you say there's specific characters that stand out, or it's just like random lines from all of the characters? I do feel like the voice direction in the newer Sonic games is kind of hit or miss. Like I didn't play what was the big Sonic open world? Sonic Frontiers. I haven't played that yet, but I played Shadow Generations, and that the voice direction in that game was mostly on point, but there were certain moments where I was like, it was kind of weird. Heck yeah, Riders, bro. Sonic Riders. I want to buy the OG game for the GameCube, but it's like $80 on eBay. So I'm going to wait until I have some FU money and then I'll do that. But man, Sonic Riders is easily one of the best video games of all time. The campaign is, you know, kind of bare bones. And there's only so many maps, but that game is freaking awesome. Yeah, specific characters sound weird. Amy, for example. Oh, bro, why they gotta flop Amy? Why? Amy's the best character in the franchise. Why would you do that to Amy? This might be one of the worst voices they've used. Oh my god, that's even worse, bro. Bro. That sucks. Anyway, so Kyoshi's fighting Roth. They clash. The clash is so strong it's breaking the foundation and the buildings around them. And Akane has to grab a telephone pole and it's like literally bending in the wind. Roth powers up his arm and he gets like a gum fist basically and punches Kyoshi. Kyoshi blocks it. Kyoshi shoots Roth point blank. They punch each other. They're both standing there scathed, which isn't really a word, but it's the opposite of unscathed. He says, so we meet again, Solomon. I don't know if that character's been referenced before. So he knees Kyoshi in the face. We're getting a backstory now. So Roth gets like another power up. He grows these 2 black angel wings, almost like seraphim wings. Gigantomachia. I feel like that's a reference to another series. Is that a Bleach attack? I feel like that's a Bleach attack. So he's powering up an energy attack. Looks pretty hardcore. Kyoshi says, I have no fear. Everyone is with me. Alright, classic shonen protagonist stuff. So they're about to do an energy clash. We'll see what happens. So he beats Asata Roth, who they have like a soul linking moment. And Asata Roth basically says like, oh, well, actually demons are really nice. And, you know, we like human compassion, which is stupid because that is very out of character for him. And then he dies. So yeah, that was the Asata Roth fight. So he beat Asata Roth. That's the name of the giant monster guy in MHA. You might be thinking of that. Yeah, I knew I heard that before. Excuse me. That's crazy. Yeah, I have some thoughts on Kyoshi. I don't know that I'll do a video, but I have some thoughts. We got like 5 minutes, so maybe I'll make it Thursday's stream, but Kyoshi is in a very interesting spot story-wise. And unfortunately, the haters of Kyoshi were not 100% wrong. They're like 99% wrong, but that 1% has got some strong ground to stand on. So Kyoshi wakes up from what looks like a coma. All of the Hell's Kitchen, right? Is that the name of the restaurant, guys? And then the one girl that's Akane's friend, are playing cards, waiting for him to wake up. Have you heard one of songs is top in... Yeah, Eddie, I gotta be honest, I have no idea what you just said. So is it still in Axe territory, or are people still yapping? It could still get cut. It could very much still get cut. This arc ended in a very abrupt way. Not like about to end abrupt, but like definitely too short. Should have been longer. Um, and it relies pretty heavily on shonen cliches when it comes to fights. So it's got less than 60 chapters, so it could easily get cut around like chapter 100. If anything, I feel like if it's gonna get cut, it's gonna get cut early next year, because I think mid-January is when they do like the first batch of the new year. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that's when they do it. No, I take that back. It's like February that they do it. It's like late January, early February that they do the first batch. So if they're gonna cut Kyoshi, it'll probably happen early next year. But I don't think they're gonna cut it yet, considering how much they were pushing it before. It doesn't really get as many color pages as of late, which is not a great sign, but there's really nothing to show that like it's definitely gonna get cut. And it still has a lot of potential. It's a new record, getting 5 awards. That's pretty cool. Anyway, so they all hug Kyoshi. They're like, all right, good, you're back, right? So Sosuke is alive. Everyone's alive, right? His left arm is injured, right? It looks broken. So this is funny. So Akane's big brother, who usually doesn't like Kiyoshi, is actually thanking him for protecting her, which is an interesting turn of events for sure. Akari. I kept saying Akane, but it's Akari. K-pop Demon Hunter is getting all kinds of awards. Has this happened before? Not from a Sony animation, I don't think. At least not lately. I don't think Spider-Verse got any like musical awards. K-pop Demon Hunters is unprecedented in how just how popular it is. It's crazy, but it's 100% deserved. If you have not watched K-pop Demon Hunters, then you need to check it out, because it's one of my favorite movies from this year. So Akari's brother has done such a turnaround that he went from hating Kiyoshi to now he's basically treating him like his brother-in-law. Wink wink. Which is hilarious. So Sakaki comes in now. He has like a nice moment with Kiyoshi. So now they're gonna go to the Gates of Hell. That's what it's called, the Chinese restaurant. Now they're all gonna share beers, right? It's mostly the young crowd. We don't. Oh no, it's like all the characters are here, drinking beer, having Chinese food. It's not just the younger characters. I forget what this character's name is. The eye patch girl. As much as I don't like how the Asura Roth fight ended, I really like how, oh my god, what is the author's name? Usui is ending this arc with like this, it's like very One Piece-esque, where they're having like a banquet and like partying. It's not quite the same, but it has the same vibes. It's really nice. Like all the characters get like a spotlight, right? Even if it's not like, you know, super character developing or anything like that. And this is what I like about Kyoshi. I like that all of the characters are like cool characters, right? Like they all kind of get to share the spotlight. Wait a minute, did they bury Yuta next to the sister, the priestess? I hope they did, because that would kind of... So yeah, they did. So that kind of redeems what happened with Yuta, because I really didn't like what happened with Yuta in the fight. But that's like a nice little touch to that. So this arc was okay for like the series' first big arc. It was okay. I think there were a lot of expectations placed on it for good reason, because obviously former assistant to Ichiro Oda, right? Obviously fans of the series were hyping the series up, myself included. So, and like the story itself hyped up this arc. They're saying, you know, all these demon lords, right? That the 13 strongest devils are going to attack the earth and we're probably all going to die. And then the fight happens and nobody really dies and they kill all the devils in like 2 chapters. And then Kyoshi fights the final boss after he basically flexed on like 3 other devils, and he beats the strongest one in like 3 chapters. So I think Usui needs to flesh out fights more. I think he needs to plan them out so that they're extended and they aren't just like a means to an end of like story beats. Because it definitely feels like Usui's approach is like a fight is like just a fight, and like he just rushes to the good stuff. He doesn't like, you know, fill it in with choreography. He doesn't like draw it out to like to the point where it might be a little too long, because it's okay for a fight to be like a little too long, but these fights are like way too short for sure. They're just, there's like no, the weird thing is like there's build up to these fights, but then like the fights themselves are like straight to the point with like no give and take, no clash, right? No friction, I guess. It's just boom, straight to the end. So I feel like that's Kyoshi's one major flaw. And any other complaints that people have, really, it's just other ways of saying that. Yeah. But that's pretty much going to be it for today's stream. Thank you everybody for another great conversation. Unfortunately, Dandadan was on break, so we couldn't talk about Dandadan as much as I would like to on Monday. We did talk about Kinta for a bit. I might make Thursday a Kyoshi stream, because I feel like Kyoshi deserves to be picked apart a bit, especially after this arc. It's like kind of, it's pretty much shown what its potential is for the most part, what it's capable of. So at this point, even though it's at chapter 57, I think it's long enough where we can start talking about like, okay, is this series good or is it not, right? So I might do that Thursday. We might also, depending on the reaction to the new episode of Dandadan, that might be another Dandadan stream. We'll see. But that's going to be it. Look out for a September channel update either tomorrow or Wednesday. Next video, if you haven't watched the Spy Family video, make sure to check that out. I had a lot of fun making that. Next video will be Friday, Saturday at the latest, and then after this week we'll go back to 2 videos a week, and that's it. Thanks everybody. I will see you Thursday. Peace.